Have you ever looked at your grown child? Maybe in the middle of one of those exhausting conversations where you're walking on eggshells and thought, how did we get here? You raised them, loved them, made sacrifices, and yet somehow you're the one who ends up feeling guilty, drained, and even responsible for their emotional state. If you've felt this way, you're not alone, and you're not imagining it. Many older parents, especially in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, are silently carrying the emotional weight of adult children who, for whatever reason, believe the world revolves around them. Some of these children genuinely believe the universe, including you, owes them something. And not just one thing, many things. Things you never signed up for, things you never promised. And most bizarre of all, they act as if your love, time, and money were just the opening payments in a lifelong debt. Let's talk about it honestly. Not in a way that shames you or them, but in a way that sets you free. You deserve that peace. In this video, we're going to explore some of the strange and sometimes heartbreaking ways certain adult children expect their parents, especially aging parents, to keep paying emotionally, financially, and spiritually. And more importantly, how to start letting go of those unfair expectations. Let's begin with one of the most subtle but powerful beliefs they carry. The idea that you owe them for giving them the life they believe they deserved. Think about that for a moment. Maybe you gave them everything you had. You worked long hours. You skipped vacations. You made do with less so they could have more. But somehow, they've rewritten the story. In their version, nothing was ever enough. If you couldn't give them the newest clothes, the latest phone, or pay for an Ivy League school, then you failed. And now, even as adults, they treat you like a lifelong debt collector, except instead of invoices, they use guilt, little remarks, cold silences, emotional outbursts. They don't see the full story. They don't see the nights you cried from exhaustion, or the times you went without so they could have what they needed. They've reduced parenting to a transaction, and they think you still owe interest. But here's the truth they don't want to hear. You gave them life. That was a gift. Parenting isn't a business deal, and your love wasn't a contract. You were never supposed to bankrupt yourself emotionally or financially just to keep proving your worth. You don't owe them for being born. That was your choice, yes, but it was also your joy, your journey. And like any journey, it came with struggles. But those struggles don't make you indebted. They make you human. The child who grows into an adult without learning gratitude will always feel empty. And no amount of your sacrifice will ever fill that space. That's not your failure. That's their responsibility. Now let's talk about something just as common, but harder to spot. The belief that you owe them an endless supply of time and attention. You may be retired now, or semi-retired. Maybe you're finally able to enjoy some quiet mornings, a walk in the park, a cup of coffee without having to rush out the door. But just as you begin to find that calm, your phone rings, or the doorbell, or you get a passive-aggressive text that says, "I guess you're too busy for your family now." See, to a child who believes everything centers around them, your time isn't yours, your peace isn't yours, your attention is their right. They'll ask for small favors at first, watch the kids for an hour, run an errand, help with something they could easily do themselves. And the moment you hesitate, just hesitate, they make you feel like the worst parent in the world. You never have time for me. You used to care. You're just like your own mother. You only think of yourself. It hurts, doesn't it? That sting, that quiet heartbreak. But here's the truth. Your time is not a debt owed to anyone. You gave them decades of your life. You cheered from the sidelines, showed up when no one else did, sat up with them through illnesses and heartbreaks. You've done your part, and then some. The lie they believe is that your role as parent means constant availability. But the truth is, boundaries are healthy. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to say no. And if saying no makes them angry, that anger belongs to them, not to you. You are not a 24-hour service line. You are a person with needs, with dreams, with limits. And if you don't guard your peace, they'll keep calling, texting, demanding, until you forget what peace even feels like. It's not selfish to take care of yourself. In fact, it's the opposite. It shows them what self-respect looks like. And maybe, just maybe, it gives them a model to grow from. They may not like it now, but later, when life humbles them, and it always does, they'll remember the quiet strength it took for you to say, "I love you, but I need this time for me." You deserve time that's not filled with guilt. You deserve relationships that don't feel like obligation. You deserve to exhale. And if no one's ever told you that, let me be the first. You've done enough. You are enough. Now, let's keep going. There's something deeply unsettling about watching your own child grow up and believe they're entitled to parts of you that were never theirs to claim, not your peace, not your privacy, and certainly not your financial future. And yet, many older parents find themselves caught in a strange emotional tug-of-war between love and obligation, between guilt and common sense. It often shows up in your bank account. Before you even realize it, you start to notice the pattern. They ask for help with a bill. Then it's rent. Then it's a down payment or their kid's tuition. Or even a vacation because they need a break. And because you're kind, because you've always wanted to support your children, you say yes. Not because you owe them, but because you love them. But a child who believes everything belongs to them doesn't see the difference. In their mind, your money, yes, even your retirement money, is theirs by default. They'll remind you of what you gave them in the past and twist it into leverage. You always helped me before. It's not a big deal for you. Don't you want your grandkids to have everything? And they'll say these things not from a place of need, but from a place of expectation, a belief that your financial stability is an open bank account they can access, with the right words, the right guilt, the right pout or tantrum. It might start small, but over time, it grows into a quiet pressure. You start wondering if you should dip into your savings just to keep the peace. You skip something you wanted for yourself, maybe a trip, a home project, even a medical procedure, just so they won't be upset. And that's when you have to stop and ask, when did love become a line item? You are not a retirement plan. You are not a safety net for every bad decision they made. You are not required to keep giving just because you once did. It's okay to say no. It's okay to let them find their own solutions. It's okay to let them struggle a little, because struggle is what builds resilience. If they never learn how to fall and stand on their own, they'll forever lean on you until there's nothing left. And when you say no, and the anger comes, and it might, try not to panic. That reaction isn't your responsibility. It's their discomfort with boundaries, not your failure as a parent. It takes strength to say, I love you, but I need to protect what I've worked for. I need to take care of my future. Because you do. You've earned peace of mind. You've earned security. You've earned the right to enjoy your later years without fear of financial ruin or emotional blackmail. Now let's talk about something even more subtle, but just as heavy: control. You may not realize it at first, but some adult children carry an unspoken belief that they have a say in your life decisions, how you spend your time, who you spend it with, what you wear, what you post online, where you live, who you date, what you say. They'll comment on your choices, not out of concern, but out of ownership. You tell them you're going on a trip, and suddenly it's, why are you spending money on that? You mention seeing an old friend, and they raise an eyebrow. You get a pet, change your furniture, consider moving, and they react like you've betrayed them. Their need for control is disguised as caring. But really, it's about keeping you within the version of yourself that they are most comfortable with. The one who never challenges them, never changes, never makes choices that don't involve them. They might not shout. Sometimes it's just a sigh, a look, a cold response. The message is the same. How dare you act like your own person? And that's the moment you realize they don't want you free. They want you predictable, manageable, submissive to their vision of how your life should look. But your life is yours. It always has been, even when you gave so much of it away for others. And now, more than ever, it's time to reclaim it. If you want to go to the beach, go. If you want to paint, dance, join a walking club, take a road trip, get a dog, do it. Not because anyone gave you permission, but because you don't need permission anymore. You don't owe them your choices. You don't have to consult anyone before you enjoy your day. You're not their dependent. You're not their employee. You are the adult, the elder, the survivor, the matriarch, the patriarch. You've earned the right to live freely. And if they can't accept that, that's something they'll have to work through. Not you. You are not here to be micromanaged. You're not here to shrink. You're not here to be who they think you should be. You are here to live, to grow, to explore, to rest. And if they can't celebrate that with you, then at the very least, they can learn to respect it. There's one more belief, a heavy one, that often hides behind sweet words, behind that forced smile, or that quiet guilt trip. And that is the idea that you owe them your emotional loyalty, no matter what they do. Now, what does that even mean? It means they believe you should always be on their side, that you should defend them, even when they're wrong, that your love should come with silence, with blind support and without boundaries, that you should never speak up when they hurt you, never challenge them, never disagree, because to do so would make you disloyal or even abusive. Some will say things like, "You're supposed to be my parent, you're supposed to have my back." And at first, you might nod, you might even feel bad. But let's pause and think. What they really mean is, you're supposed to agree with me, no matter what. And that's not love. That's manipulation. Being loyal doesn't mean sacrificing your truth. It doesn't mean pretending their behavior is okay when it isn't. It doesn't mean staying quiet when they're being cruel, or watching them treat others badly and saying nothing. There's a name for that kind of forced loyalty: emotional bondage. And that's not what family should be. There's a difference between love and loyalty. Love can be fierce, honest, and real. Love can say, "I care about you, but I won't lie for you. I won't enable you. I won't let you cross my boundaries." Loyalty, the way some children define it, is submission. It's silence. It's turning your back on your own values for the sake of peace. But your peace isn't true peace if it comes at the cost of your soul. Some parents tell me they feel like they're walking a tightrope every time their child calls or visits. One wrong word, one honest thought. And suddenly, the child storms off, disappears for weeks, or punishes them with silence. That is not the relationship you deserve. You deserve to be heard. You deserve to be respected. You deserve to be loved without being controlled. And let's be clear, it is not disloyal to have your own opinion. It is not disloyal to set boundaries. It is not disloyal to say, "I won't be spoken to like that." That is called self-respect. And you've earned every bit of it, no matter what your child might believe. You are allowed to take up space in your own life. You are allowed to stand up and say, "Enough." You are allowed to walk away from conversations that drain you, from dynamics that confuse you, from guilt that doesn't belong to you. And you can do all of that with grace, with calm, with dignity. You don't need to shout, you don't need to argue. You simply need to stop agreeing to terms that were never fair to begin with. You see, there comes a moment in every parent's life where the role starts to shift, where you realize that you are not here to fix everything anymore. You are not responsible for their emotional wounds, their unmet needs, or their endless demands. You did your best, and your best was more than enough. If no one else has said this to you yet, let me be the one. You don't owe your adult children your life. You don't owe them your time. You don't owe them your bank account. You don't owe them your silence. You don't owe them your emotional loyalty, especially when it's used as a weapon. What you do owe to yourself is peace, joy, rest, the right to breathe without someone watching your every move, waiting to be offended. You owe yourself laughter, quiet, space, a future that belongs to you. And yes, you can still love them. You can love them deeply. You can pray for them. You can hope they heal, that they grow, that they learn to love without controlling. But in the meantime, you can choose peace. If you've recognized even a piece of yourself in this video, if something in your heart whispered, "That's me," then please know, you're not alone. So many strong, wise, caring seniors are walking this same path, trying to untangle from years of guilt and unrealistic expectations. You are in good company. We've been taught that being a good parent means giving endlessly. But real wisdom, your kind of wisdom, knows that giving must have limits. That love without boundaries is not love. It's self-sacrifice. And you, dear friend, were never meant to be a sacrifice. So take a deep breath. Put your hand on your heart. Remind yourself, I am allowed to say no. I am allowed to rest. I am allowed to live free. And if that upsets someone, that's not yours to carry. You've given enough. Now it's your turn to receive. If this video spoke to you in any way, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Share your story, your boundaries, your quiet victories. And if you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe to Strong Elderly Life. Because you deserve a community that sees your strength, your struggle, and your wisdom. Here's to living your best life. On your terms. Always.